This week, we're exploring our 6th country of the trip, Slovenia. It's somewhere that we don't really know anything about, and we weren't planning to spend much time here, but loads of you guys have said that it's definitely worth a visit, and have made some great suggestions on places to go. So we're taking your advice, battling the elements, and along the way, discovering one of the most beautiful countries that we've been to so far. But as always, there is a problem. It appears that van life is actually illegal in Slovenia. We've heard that they're actually pretty strict about this kind of thing, and we don't want to fall foul of the rules on the very first day, so we've come to a specific motorhome parking area, and the prices are actually incredible. We came here because we looked at some campsites that were nearby on the edges of Lake Bled as well, but they were sort of about €50 a night, which is pretty steep. But this place, which actually has virtually no services because most of them are out of order, is actually €20 per night, and that is for low season. In high season, it is €40 per night for essentially a car park. Now, in addition to paying €20 for the night, I think that we actually have to pay a tourist tax to be here as well. Now, I don't know if that is completely true. I've read conflicting opinions on it, but we're going to go to the info centre to see whether that is actually the case. Well, I have to say I'm very glad that we took the time to go into the tourist centre, because you absolutely do have to pay a tourist tax, and apparently you actually have to pay it every single night that you spend in Slovenia as a tourist. Now, the guy in there said that it depends on where you are as to how much it actually costs. So where we are at the moment in Bled, it costs €3, just over €3, but in other parts of the country it might be cheaper, or it might be slightly more expensive. And because we were asking about the tourist tax, he did also offer up the information that it is absolutely 100% illegal to wild camp in Slovenia. In fact, you're not even allowed to camp on someone else's land if they've given you permission. You're not allowed to camp in someone's garden even if they've given you permission, which is just incredible. It's really not something that is worth taking the risk with, because the fines are massive. So if you do get caught or stopped by the police, then apparently you will get fined €3,000 on the spot, and also the local tourist information board will get an extra €20,000 fine for not charging you the tourist tax. It seems super strict over here. Putting all of that behind us, we ventured down to visit the very thing that brought us here, the magnificent Lake Bled, and it looked like something out of a fairy tale.
Just as we were packing our stuff to come out, Jay said to me, "You're going to take your swimming stuff?" I was like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Oh no, actually, probably not, because it is quite cold and we're like 10-15 minute walk away from the van to go back and warm up, and it just felt like a hassle." Anyway, I'm glad I didn't, because there are signs everywhere saying not only can you not go and swim in the lake, but loads of other stuff that you can't do as well. Like, you're not allowed to go on the grass around the lake. You're also not allowed to sunbathe, not that we were doing that today anyway, but yeah, there's just loads of rules about stuff that you can't do. So yeah, it feels really quite rigid here in Slovenia already. We'll see how we get on with that, because Jay and I don't typically do that well with rules.
Whilst there was no swim for sale, we spent a lovely afternoon wandering the banks of Lake Bled and just soaking up those autumn feels and sampling the local delicacy, Bled cream cake.
We've made it to a place called Bohinj, and to get here we drove over the most amazing road that we've been on for quite some time, actually, probably since we were in Switzerland, and it went over a mountain pass. It was just incredible scenery, just all the autumn leaves all around, but as we got higher and higher and higher into the mountain, we just got into the clouds, and then right at the peak went through the clouds over the top and then back down the other side, and just lost count of how many switchbacks we went through. It was just like back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. James did really, really well at driving. Like, obviously it's just one of those kinds of roads where you have to have the vehicle in a low gear and be pumping your brakes and not just be constantly riding them, otherwise you're just going to be burning them out, because it really was really steep in some parts. So anyway, the idea for the afternoon was to go for a hike to a waterfall, but we got here the weather was fine, had lunch, and now it has gone absolutely terrible. It's absolutely chucking it down, and it's really grey, and there's really not very much visibility at all, so not really sure what we're going to do for the afternoon. There is a waterfall that's a little drive away, so we might have a drive to that, because apparently you can see that from the road. You've not got to hike to it, so we're not just going to be wandering around in the rain, but whether we're going to be able to see it or not, we don't really know. This is the park up that we're at, where we're allowed to stay overnight. So I was talking about in terms of the visibility. There is actually a mountain over there, but you just can't see it all anymore. And just over there is the service point, so there's a drain and a toilet point and stuff over there. So we think you are supposed to pay to stay here. There's a sign to go to the information centre, and I think that's probably where you pay your tourist tax as well. But it's not open. There's like literally no one here. Like all the shutters are down, like everything's closed. And I had a quick look on a website that was just on a sign, and it said that the summer season is now over. So even though this is a skiing place, I think it's probably right in between the summer season when people come and do summer activities and the winter season when obviously people come and ski, but there's no snow yet. So yeah, just a bit of a downtime, I guess, in between, and just nothing's open. It is also Sunday as well today, so there's not even any shops or anything open, but yeah, hopefully we can find something to do. Alright, so are you ready to get out and see this waterfall?
I'll look at the pictures when you come back, thank you. I'm staying right here. Look at this weather, it's filthy. I'm not getting out in that. Well, have fun.
I've drawn the short straw. I'm going to go do the recce, see if you can actually see anything. And then, yeah, I'm going to come back and get you if you can. I've actually got no idea where I'm going. I can kind of see some people wandering around in the distance ahead of me, so I'm walking over that way. I'm hoping that they're actually looking at something and not just wandering around in the rain, but who knows? This is horrible. Well, I couldn't find it from the road at all, like you're supposed to be able to see it, so I just walked a little bit down the walking trail, and you can see it just there behind me. So the weather is not getting any worse. I'll walk a little bit further and see if we can get a better view. Oh, I've completely freaked myself out because although there is a clear walking path through, it's gone into quite dense woodland now, and I know that there's brown bears in Slovenia. So yeah, I'm not really enjoying this. Okay, made it to the viewing platform. Check this out. Even in the rain, this place is obviously really, really beautiful. I just wish it was better weather so that we could get a clearer view at it, because it just looks so stunning around here, and it probably does actually look quite tiny in the background as the waterfall, but it's 196 metres, I believe, which is pretty blooming big. Anyway, I'm going to hot float back to the van now, and hopefully I don't get eaten by bears on the way back.
Now, I'm pretty sure that Sarah just said that she was going out for a recce, but it has been about 20 minutes since she went out. So I don't know whether she's decided that this is a good time to go for a wild swim, or whether she's got lost or something, but I'm probably going to give it another 5 minutes and go out and try and find her, because everyone else that set off at a similar time has already come back. I've watched them come back and get in their cars and leave, so I don't know what she's doing.
Oh my gosh, how funny is this? I've just got back to the road and you can't absolutely see it from the road. It's right there. The visibility must have just been so poor when I was here that you couldn't see it. And so you had to walk up the hiking trail to be able to see it. But yeah, it's definitely just there and it looks exactly the same.
Well, look who's back. What happened?
Do you know what happened? Right. So I told you, you can see it from the road,
yeah,
and there is a viewpoint to go to. We've just checked the route quickly where we are driving today and seen that there is a severe weather warning for a flood on the route that we are going, and there isn't any other route either, that's just the road. If we can't go there, then we have to go all the way back that we drove yesterday, which obviously we don't want to do that. So we are up and packed and getting set off. It's like 7:45 or something like that. So yeah, pretty early for us anyway. and yeah, we are going to get on the road.
We've been waiting and waiting all morning for a break in the weather, and having actually looked at the weather report, it doesn't look like there's going to be a break in it for about a week, so we decided we're just going to have to go with it. Now, you know me, I absolutely love the rain. This is the kind of weather that I was built for. Anyway, we are on our way to see a waterfall, I think. I mean, what a ridiculous thing in this kind of weather, of all things, to be going to see, but there we go. Once again, Sarah neglected to tell me about this bridge. It is absolutely horrific. This is seriously making me feel a little bit sick.
This is why I didn't tell you, because not only is it raining, there's also a suspension bridge involved, so you would just never come.
No, I wouldn't. And the water underneath is like glacial water. It is, you know, that milky sort of white turquoise colour, and I know it's going so rapid as well. It's just flowing so fast. If we happen to go in, that would be absolutely it.
It's not going to break, we're fine.
It's wood, it's wood.
Come on, let's go. At least if it gets any worse, you can just wait in here.
Yeah, with a bear.
Look at this waterway we've got to go up now.
Oh wow.
We're like right in the river. Wow! Look at this!
This 15-metre high cascade is the incredible Kozjak waterfall, and unusually, it's almost entirely enclosed in this huge cave. But we couldn't stay for long, because the weather was actually beginning to get worse, and the water to get there goes along the riverbed at some points, so we didn't want to risk being cut off if the water rose anymore. And it was a very wet hike back to the van.
So how are we going to dry all this stuff?
Diesel heater.
It's really coming down now.
Yeah, it started properly tipping it down on the way back, and I'm glad that we set off when we did, because if we'd have actually been out for a long time in this, I don't think we would have ever got dry.
Good morning. Well, we eventually dried off yesterday, had a nice hot shower and got warm. This is where we ended up at, just another motorhome point. I think it's €24 for 24 hours, so yeah, quite expensive. It's supposed to be Wi-Fi as well, but it isn't working, so it is just the like drains and the water and the electricity, that's all you get. And compared to that, we were getting those places completely free in Italy and the same in France and stuff, it feels really blooming expensive here, like more so than Switzerland actually, I would say. And because you're having to pay everywhere that you stay, it just feels such a waste to then be stuck in the van when it's raining. I'm stood under like a little carport thing now, but you can probably see behind me, it is like chucking it down. And stuff's not dried from yesterday, from the adventure we went on yesterday. Like, we just got all damp stuff hung in the cab, and like there's not enough like hanging space to actually hang stuff up. It isn't actually that cold, it's quite warm, so we don't even want to have the heating on really, but it's just, yeah, really damp and not drying. But we don't just want to stay here paying 24 quid to just essentially be sat in the van. There's loads of cool stuff around this area that we wanted to be doing. Unfortunately, one of the things, like the main thing that we came here for, the Tolmin Gorges, is closed due to adverse weather, of course, because the water levels are just too high that you can't go in there and explore. So makes sense, obviously that would be really, really dangerous, but it's just such a shame because I don't know if we'll come back here again or not. So yeah, we're just going to miss out on that completely. Anyway, we I think are going to head off to the capital of Slovenia. I've got no idea how to pronounce it, so yeah, we're going to head off there anyway. We feel like if we're in a city, at least we can kind of like duck in and out of places if it's raining, and we're not just out in the pouring down rain with no shelter. Yeah, that's the plan today. And we also are probably gonna call by a laundrette just to literally chuck our stuff in the dryer to get stuff dried, because the van is just starting to smell like we've got a wet dog in there, and that is not fun. We've just come to this sign on the road. Jay's just translated it, like he's blocking the road. What does it say?
Well, the translation that I'm seeing is total imprisonment, which doesn't sound great, to be honest. The detour took us along some roads that were definitely not built for vans, and while it was a little nerve-wracking squeezing through these tiny gaps, we were just pleased to be able to carry on at all.
This is where we ended up last night, just in this motorhome park up. There was quite a few vans here when we got here, but they've all left today. It's €10 a night, which feels a little bit better, and the services included in that, so not as expensive. You've got to get the bus from here into the city, so we're going to take that. I think it's about a 20-25 minute journey. Doesn't really feel like there's much around here. It all feels quite industrial, as most of the park ups have been, but it feels safe enough. So yeah, we're going to go in and explore the city for the day.
Well, I was quite excited about getting here, not only because Ljubljana is meant to be really, really lovely, but also because it was the first day in quite a few that there was meant to be no rain. However, as soon as we got off the bus, or actually when we were on the bus, it started absolutely piddling it down. We're going to get soaked. This is seriously delicious. That has got to be one of the most decorated restaurants that I've ever eaten in. It was a fast food place and it just had about 9 or 10 accolades of the best place in Ljubljana, and very well deserved. It was absolutely delicious. It's just quite a basic phyllo pastry dish with various fillings that you can have in it, but really, really tasty. That place was also seriously busy. There was just a constant stream of customers queuing up one after the other. Ljubljana seems like a really cool city. The centre of it is absolutely beautiful. There's just all these gorgeous old buildings, and it is all along both sides of the river, and there are lots of places to sit out and lots of places to eat and cafes and stuff. However, we've actually come on a public holiday, so there's not a great deal of places that are actually open. So we're going to have a wander around. There are a few bits and pieces that we do want to see, but really we've just got to see what is actually open. We took our time exploring some of the city's most famous landmarks and admiring the gorgeous architecture, all of which have contributed to this place being named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And even in the rain, it was absolutely charming. We finished the day with some more delicious local food. A couple of weeks ago, we asked for suggestions on what to do in Slovenia when we realised that we were going to be coming this way. And the one thing that came up over and over again was to go and visit some massive caves. And they're actually the one attraction in this country that is open whatever the weather, come rain or shine, which is a good thing because this rain does not seem as though it's going anywhere anytime soon. It is still absolutely pelting it down. So we've driven halfway across the country. Let's go and see some massive caves. Formed over millions of years by the Pivka River which runs through them, Postojna Caves are one of Slovenia's most popular tourist attractions. The cave system is an incredible 25 kilometres or 15 miles long, with about 5 kilometres or 3 miles being accessible to the public. To get in, you travel on one of these trains which takes you about 2/3 of the way before getting off to explore on foot. We've been travelling for over 8 years now, And when you're constantly on the road and seeing and experiencing new and exciting things all the time, it's pretty easy to almost take them for granted. But every now and then, we do something that just absolutely blows us away and literally leaves us in awe. Travelling into the depths of these caves and seeing the natural wonder firsthand was one of those things. The sheer vastness of them, coupled with their breathtaking beauty, makes you feel small and humble and reignites that burning curiosity, which is the whole reason why we do any of this.
Well, after being in Slovenia for a week, we have finally found somewhere with free services that you are allowed to park overnight. Unfortunately, as you can see and probably hear, it is right on the side of a really busy motorway, and technically it wasn't free because we had to buy a €16 permit to get onto the motorway to access the service point, and we hadn't bought one of those so far because we haven't been using the motorways. But anyway, from here we are headed into Croatia, so we're going to leave you here this week. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the little alarm bell thing so you get notified next time we post a new video. See you then.